Great evening, everyone. How are you? Guess what time it is? Don't look at your watch. Look at the screen. It's time for the Ruby Girl Talk with your favorite Ruby Girl, Dr. K, also operating in the role of Coach K. I have tonight, once again, not one fabulous guest, but I have three fabulous guests. And tonight, y'all, we're going to talk about the letter A. Just kidding. All their names I was picking with them. I said, all your names start with letter A. So I said, I guess tonight I'll be Dr. Aaron, so I can just fit in just a little bit. But no, I'm so happy to interview these women because these women, the book that they wrote is about motherhood. And so mothers are so important in our life. And you know what was so weird today? I've never seen this before. Macy sent me an email and they said you can pause your advertisements during Mother's Day. That's the first company that is aware that for Mother's Day, it's a little sensitive for some people. And I was really shocked to see that. Have y'all ever heard of a company doing that?
No. Mm,
Yeah, usually they're
mm.
about, that person or know somebody, but they actually said that you can pause your ads and they will stop them until after Mother's Day because then
Wow.
they understand how hard it is if you don't have your mother. Your mother has such an impact on your life. You can be a daddy's girl, but really your mother is the one that you have that bond, that tie to because she's the one that you travel in her stomach for 9 months. So before we get started, I want these beautiful ladies to go on my page, find this video, and share it with their audience, their fans, their followers. So I'm already letting y'all know that these ladies are very important, right? So I need y'all to do the same thing. Let's all be on one accord tonight and start to share the video. So while they do that, I'm gonna tell y'all about Ruby Girl. You might already know, but you might have forgot. If you like me, you forgot if it was 7 days ago. So I am Dr. Karen Dye, also the owner of His Designs LLC, but my brand is Ruby Girl, coming from Proverbs 31 and 10. Who can find a virtuous woman for her price is far above the price of a ruby? So, ladies, this special is just for you. This makes you rare, virtuous, and also valuable. It's a platform to restore the value of women, to help women to become empowered, and to know that the Proverbs 31 and 10 woman is to be used as a guide and a mentor. You don't have to do everything that she did. You don't have to copy her, but it enables you to see that you can live life to the fullest in Christ. So, all right, let's get started with these introductions. So, we're going to start with Dr. Anissa because she is the visionary behind this book that we're going to talk about tonight. So, I'll let her tell you about the book, give you the name and everything. I won't spill the tea yet. So, Dr. Anissa, go right ahead.
Hey, Dr. K, thanks again so very much for opening up your doors of your podcast for not only myself, but my sister girlfriends that join me on this journey to publish this book. They are phenomenal in their own right. Listen, the book will be available Friday, you guys. Make a note. It's Becoming the Shero, the Motherhood Mantle. This book is all about saluting moms, the important role in which the mothers serve in our lives. And each of my co authors wrote a story of their own. They either talked about their personal journey in motherhood, they did a shout out or a salute to their own mom, or they provided some bit of advice for mothers, future mothers, wannabe mothers, So whether you're an actual biological mother, adoptive mom, stepmom, dog mom, foster mom, it really doesn't matter because by nature, women are nurturing and they serve a vital part of the structure of our communities, not just our families, but our communities. And so this book, which will be available Friday, just in time for Mother's Day, speaks to that and it serves as a salute. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to pen, just to coordinate and curate another project of this nature and to have 7 other wonderful women join me on this journey.
All right. That was amazing, Dr. Anissa. And welcome once again to the Ruby Girl Talk. Let me tell you, Dr. Anissa is getting these books out here. So I finally slid in with one last year, but she's putting out one, two, three, multiple ones a year, and not just by herself. She's assembling, I mean, women from all walks of life, all over. She is just a connector. So, Miss April,
Yes.
could you tell us about yourself?
Yes, 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 ma'am. I'm glad to be here. I am April Mays Rhodes, known in the literary circles as April Louise, and I am an author, a speaker, a counselor, and an education consultant. And I am just grateful for Dr. Anissa. I met her like what, maybe 6 months ago, and it feels like we've known each other for years. She
Yeah.
is like a true sister girl.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right. Thank you, Miss April. All right, Miss Antoinette. Antoinette. Did I say it right?
Antoinette, yes.
Antoinette. Okay, I should know
Mhm.
this.
Okay. I'm Antoinette Harrison. I'm Pastor Antoinette Harrison. My husband and I pastor a church here in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I'm a retired educator, and I'm excited about the platform that Dr. Short has provided for us. And like she said, it's just not a book that we've written. It's a platform that can be going to take us to different levels. And I'm excited. And I met Dr. Short a few years ago on Lunch and Learn, and we both spoke at different times. She came when I was on, and I came and supported her. So then for us to come back again to work on this wonderful project together is really exciting.
Good. That is so amazing. Thank you, ladies, for your introduction. So, Dr. Anissa,
Yes,
Becoming the Shero, the Motherhood Mantle, is your third book in the Shero series. Third
it is.
book, you
It
know?
is.
So, Dr. Anissa, can you share with us how the vision for the Shero series began?
I wish I could give you some dramatic, story like I was out on the beach and then I heard a voice or whatever. It wasn't that dramatic. But I will say this. I woke up in the middle of the night and the theme becoming the Shero was given to me. I don't know if I was asleep and dreamed it or heard it as I was awake. I don't know, but I had to go to my bedside table and I wrote on a sticky note, becoming the Shero. And I went back to sleep because I knew that if I probably wouldn't remember the next morning. So when I got up that morning and I revisited the note, then it was given to me to go from three perspectives from three perspectives. The first was entrepreneurship. So that first book was about entrepreneurship, and I had 14 women, 14 total, 14 co-authors. That was, let me tell you, honey, that project there. It was good though. Everybody shared the lessons learned and their journey as a woman or entrepreneur, because these books was to serve as an inspiration to women, whether they were entrepreneurs or in business or not. It didn't matter. It was to be They were to be inspirational pieces for women. And so the first one was given to me for entrepreneurship. So I said, okay, becoming a Shero. So that was the entrepreneurial edition, right? And so I got done with it, and this was done during the pandemic. So I thought I was done. Then God gave it to me to do a salute to the military, women in the military. So it was this time last year that becoming the Shero, the military edition, a military edition, was given to me. And just when I got the cover created so that I could put it out there to see who'd be willing to participate, he gave me Motherhood Mantle. And I'm like, there's another one? So the military edition and the Motherhood Mantle, both of those book covers were done at the same time. I already had them, but I was given sequential order for which to do, right? So last year was the military edition. I had 8 co-authors. Those women were either active duty or retired military. They told their stories about how being in the journey of being, a part of the military service, how they grew up or lessons learned, that type of thing. And that was I felt like I really owed that one to the women that I see every day because I live in a military community. Did not truly fully understand the sacrifices made until you become friends with people and you realize these moms have to go on with life knowing that their husbands might be in one country and they're in another country, or the kids are with family. It's just a lot of dynamics. And so, and then of course this one, the Motherhood Mantle, which is all about motherhood.
Yeah.
So the series, the series, this is the last of unless I hear another voice in my sleep, this is all I've been given, these three. And again, they speak to women from various vantage points, and they share transparent stories, real stories from real women from various walks of life. And so I believe almost any woman could benefit from any one of the three books in some capacity. So that's pretty much how it worked out. This book, of course, just in time for Mother's Day. Yes, it is.
She's trying to tell y'all something. It's the perfect book for mothers. So, Pastor Antoinette, did you know this story before you became one of her co-authors?
No, I didn't. I did not know the story. I didn't know the background. I did not.
Okay. So, April, if you have, did you know this story?
I did not know at first, and then she reached out to me because I had previously wrote a book about moms. And like I said, within that 6 months, we have been talking. We have been accountability partners. And then she says, I have a third book coming out about moms. I would like for you to be in it. And I just jumped on it. And not only did I jump on it, I got my sister to be a part. My sister is also a co-author in this book.
Yes.
Oh, family. Got family here. That sounds really great. So, why? I know you said God is just basically giving you what to write about in each one of your issues. Um, but you decided to, like you say, honor mothers in this one. Why do you think he wanted you to honor mothers?
I've been called to work with women. The work
Okay.
that I do is with women. And so women wear many hats. We're mothers. Most of us are in some capacity, whether biologically or in other way. We're mentors. We are career women. We are community advocates and community leaders. We serve in ministry. We wear a lot of hats. And so because I am called to women in the entrepreneurial circle, I cannot negate the other the other hats that the women wear. If I'm talking with them about creating success in business, I have to be able to relate to them, because even though they want to create success in business, they still have the responsibility of being a wife and a mother. If they are a woman who served in active duty, and because of her being retired now, she might be dealing with some things from her military experience. I have to be mindful of the dynamics that make up that person. And so because I know that I'm called to women, I just truly believe that God has given me this assignment to write stories, or to curate stories, or to curate projects, or to write books that can speak to the essence of what women represent. And we're not just monolithic. We come in all shapes and sizes, all colors and creeds and backgrounds. And so I wanted to be able to do something. Um, that's what I believe I've been called to do. I don't have biological children, and so my legacy is my books. Anything that I write, any project that I leave here, it needs to have significance. And it must be intentional. And of course, I just trust God to give me the wisdom to do it. I'm gifted in that respect to be able to multitask. I don't know if that's good or bad on any given day, but you get what I'm saying. But so the messaging through my books is an extension of the assignment that I have. And so, yeah, that's it.
I think women are so vital in this world. And I think that's why we were the last creation that God created. He created us not out of that dust. We were the ones, we didn't come out the dust. He made us so unique, stand out. And I think that's why the world attacks us so much. And it's not easy being a mother. And I didn't know that you didn't have any biological
No.
children. Mother just radiates from you. It really do.
Thank you.
It
It
do.
does.
So Pastor Annette, Antoinette, do you have children?
I do. I've had four children. I
Okay.
have three biological children that are still alive and well and doing well in the military. Two that have one retired, one retiring from the military, and one entrepreneur, and grandchildren as well.
Okay, good for you. What about you, Miss April?
I have one, the one and only. The one and only. I have a son who will be turning 25 in a couple days. He is a graduate of North Carolina A&T, and he's a computer scientist. So he's my one and only, and I talk about him a lot in this chapter.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to the second part of the show because we're going to hear the stories. We're going to start hearing more about the stories. So we're going to take a 60-second break. I know we just got started, but we're going to do a little bit more in depth. in-depth talking about the story and the book and everything that went behind this book, being able to be in the hand of Dr. Anissa. Because if you've never written a book before, you don't understand all that goes with writing a book. The writer's block, the trying to figure out maybe a subtitle. But for you, Dr. Anissa, the Lord gave you a little shortcut. Me and him gonna have a conversation after the show. But because I've been stuck on my subtitle. I was telling you for my book for like
Yeah.
some weeks, and then I got it, put it somewhere, and don't know where it's at. So so I understand the publishing, correcting, all that. It's a lot. It really
Yeah.
is a lot. But once you hold that book in your hand, it's like holding a baby, because
Mhm.
now you realize you finally birthed something in the earth. And somebody said people really don't throw away books. It's rare. I can
I
tell
hate
you.
to throw away books. I hate
Yeah,
to.
it's especially when you connect to them. Like I have 2 tubs of my favorite author, all her books, and I know I need to give them books away. I'm not gonna read them again, but it's like the book become you, and it's like if you let the book go, the story goes with it. You
Yeah.
know, that's just how I feel about it. So we're gonna have a 1 minute break, and while we have the 1 minute break, we're gonna let Dr. Nissa do what she do best and give us a 60-second talk. And while she does that, I'm gonna look on Facebook and see if any of your friends showed up for you or what comments we got out there, okay? All right,
Okay.
Dr. Anissa, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much again, Dr. Karen. So listen, I'm going to read a part of the introduction of this book after this 1 minute. So the introduction says, how would you describe a Shero mom or the mantle for which she carries? Just as every woman is different, so is the motherhood experience. Each is unique, but at the core, they share a commonality. A Shero mom would be the best of both worlds, or the best that one could imagine. She not only fulfills the traditional responsibilities of caregiving, nurturing, and supporting her children, but she goes above and beyond to make a positive impact in her community or even society at large. As a Shero, she demonstrates courage, strength, and resilience in various aspects of life. She inspires others through her actions, leadership, and ability to overcome obstacles, challenge stereotypes, and pave the way for positive change. As a Shero mom, she embodies the qualities of courage, strength, resilience, and selflessness. She demonstrates unwavering love, determination, and sacrifice for her family while juggling multiple roles and challenges with grace and perseverance. She is the role model for her children and the many others who encounter her. She wants to leave a legacy of love and courage for generations to come. May this book of stories, a collective salute to the mantle of motherhood, serve as a celebration to every woman, every mom, every Shero.
Yes.
Wow, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. And I'm gonna tell you what I think about every time you say the mantle. But right now we got Renee out there. Renee says, sounds like a great book. You got your first customer. She said, I'm purchasing one. And it's available when, Dr. Anissa?
Friday. No,
Friday,
wait a
y'all.
minute, wait a minute. Today is Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I told y'all I've been bananas. It'll be available Thursday. It will be
Okay.
available Thursday. It'll be
Ruby
available
Girl
Thursday.
Day. Oh my
Yeah,
God. So we really have to pump it up, Dr. Anissa,
I
on
sound
Ruby
like a
Girl
plan.
Day.
Sounds like a
Yeah,
plan.
okay. All right, okay. So Verdea said, hey everyone, blessings to you. We got Viola out there. She said, blessings, Sister Antoinette.
Oh,
Yeah, and I got some more people, but of course, Facebook always give me a limit out there. But I got a few more people out there watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you so
Beautiful.
much. So this is the second part of our show. And so we kind of switch it up just a little bit. So you heard about the book Becoming the Shero, the Motherhood Mantle. And I know for you that you have your mother or you don't have your mother, that this book would be very good for you just to read, because when I think of mantle, I think of Elijah and Elijah. I like to say Elijah in
Yeah,
the
right.
Bible, and how Elijah passed his mantle on. And I feel like mothers they all pass
They
something
do.
on
They
to their
do.
children, even though I'm nothing like my mother, there is something
mm-hmm.
about you that's like your mother.
Do you find yourself doing that, going like, oh, I just opened my
That's
mouth and
it.
my mama jumped out, you know?
You're right, Dr. Anisha. Anissa, I hear a lot of people say that. They be like, oh, that was just my mom that came out. So we want to start talking about the stories in the book. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Anissa, I
Yes.
want you to be first. Tell us about your story.
My story is I am my mother's daughter. That's my title. And so I focused on three arenas for which my mom made a major impression in my life. One of which is my ability to cook. And I talk about how she nurtured that. I became a good cook because of working with her in the kitchen, and that learning to cook was not just impressed upon me to be a task, but it will be an extension of who I am. It's how I show love. It's how I make a difference and that type of thing. That's what I saw her do, you know. So I started out as a taster, and I had my own easy bake oven and all that good stuff, you know. And I talk about how she taught me the importance of faith because of her lifestyle. You know, she lived what she believed. You know, she taught us to pray as children. I talk about that. I talk about the fact that she valued education. And while she graduated high school, but she didn't go beyond college. What she instilled in our household resulted in her daughters, my sister and I, obtaining multiple degrees because she laid the foundation for our education. So I talked about that, and I make reference to all of that, not just because of what she instilled, how what she instilled in us or in me in those different parameters serve to make up who I am as a person today. You know, so that was my story. I am my mother's daughter. And then, if I may, I'd like to share the titles of some of the others that are not here. We have
Yes.
Miss Chioma. She says her title is Flowers to My Mom, My Influencer. That's her title of her chapter. Nikisha Pinnell, which is April's
My
sister.
sister.
Her title is An Unconventional Journey to Motherhood. A very interesting story. Jelana Walker Herman, the role as a mother. She speaks to her role as a mother. Then there's Amy L. Sweeney, and she's a pastor's wife as well. Her title is called Grace and a Crock Pot. That's what she talks about. So her youngest son, Josiah, is autistic. And so she makes reference to that. Denise Silas is It Takes Teamwork. She salutes her mother, but she also talks about the journey of being a mother herself. And then, of course, we have Antoinette Harrison and Miss April Louise, and I'll let them tell you about their stories.
Ah, she gonna leave us in suspense. I love it. I love it. It's how can I put it? I can tell that this book is going to impact. It will be a great Mother's Day gift, especially if your mother is a reader, because
Yes,
she'll see the appreciation of you ladies have written out for your mothers and being a mother, you know.
right, right.
All right.
You
Okay.
know,
Thank
Dr.
you.
K, I'd like to make one other point too before
Okay.
April and Miss Antoinette tell their fabulous storylines. One of the things that we did as co-authors is when you flip through the chapters, you'll see the co-author's picture and a mini bio, but then there's a page of dedication. So we dedicated our chapters to our moms, whether they be alive or not. Like for myself, I dedicated it to my mother, my mother-in-law, my sister, and my two grandmothers, maternal and paternal grandmothers. But then some of them had great supporters leading up to the book being released. And so every one of us, I think almost everybody, and though they do, everyone has a dedication page. So they dedicated their chapter to their mother or to those fabulous supporters. So we want to say thank you to those who supported before the book was even ready.
Yes. Thank you. Support is so important.
I
It's
know it is.
very important. Thank you, Dr.
Exactly.
Anissa. Thank you so much. So you say you are your mother's daughter, right?
I am. Yes.
And I've heard a lot of people talk about how their mother wasn't educated or their parents wasn't educated, but they knew the value of it and it pushed them into greatness. They were always their cheerleader. They wasn't jealous of their child. I think parents of old wanted so much better for their
Right.
child because at the
Right.
time, a lot of them couldn't be better because,
You
you
know,
know,
That's
Yeah,
a good
like
point.
I
That
think
is a
of my
very good
great
point.
grandmother, she couldn't really read that well because she grew up during, I wouldn't say slavery time, but during a time where you didn't sit with people that was of a different race. And
Mm-hmm.
so, we would go visit people
Yeah,
and she'd be like, you can't sit in there with them. You have to sit in the kitchen. They'd be like, come
yeah.
on. She was like, you
So she
don't
was a
ask them
domestic.
food.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah.
still
Mm-hmm.
had that domestic mindset and she couldn't read or write that well. But I remember in the back room, we had a room full of books. And what
Yeah,
driven me to write, I wanted to know what was in those books.
yeah,
So that's where
yeah,
I got the value of education
yeah.
from, just
It starts
looking
at
at
home.
books.
It
It
really
do.
starts at home. My
Yeah.
grandmother, I don't think
Exactly.
my mama's mama never got beyond, I think, eighth grade, but she says when she grew up, eighth grade was like graduating high school for us. But we had books, magazines, encyclopedias, all that was at grandmama's house all the time. And even at my mom is a reader. So I got reading from her. She bought us books. She read to us, she bought us books. And even my nephews, which are her grandsons, she babysat. So when they started school, they already knew their alphabet. They knew sight words because she it started at home with
Good
us,
time.
right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
my
Mhm.
mom oftentimes has jokingly said that she has multiple degrees. She's got two bachelors and three masters and all that because of because of the fact that my sister and I went through school, and so she was there as our support. She would proofread
Mhm.
stuff for us and that kind of thing. So yeah, yeah, it
That's
is.
amazing. So, Pastor
Awesome.
Antoinette, tell us about your story in the book.
Well, my story starts out with me sharing my journey with my three beautiful children. I that I thank God for, and I started out with just sharing about. I started out as a single mom, and then I got married, and I've been married now for 45 years. And I shared my journey with my children and where they are now. And I also really honed in on an experience as a mother who lost their child. I lost a child through miscarriage, and I shared the experience that I went through in going through the grief process of the loss of my child. And when I looked to my supporters, I specifically reached out to those who had lost a child as well. So my chapter is dedicated to moms who have lost their child, or families, a mom and dad who has lost their child. So that my story is my experience in the journey that I traveled through grief and the process that I went through in experiencing that. And one thing I wanted to drive home in my chapter was that even if you don't have the opportunity or have the opportunity to leave the hospital with a child in your arms, you are still a Shero. You are still a mom. And I wanted to emphasize that. And I I thank the Lord for the opportunity because it's in the voices of other women that I shared as well through a process that I went through the healing, sharing our stories, and that's where my title came from, mothers to mother, mother to mother, a tapestry of love. So I received my healing through being able to share with other women. And in the process, it prepared me for ministry to other women who had also gone through loss of a child. So I'm really grateful for Dr. Short and reaching out to me to provide me this opportunity to tell my story. I've had a book, my own personal book, in me for a long time, for many years. Even though I helped the children to write a book, I never wrote a book personally on my own concerning myself and my family. So
So,
I'm thankful.
Pastor Antoinette, was it painful to write certain parts of this book?
Yeah, it brought back a lot of memories that I had not thought about in many years. But because I did go through the journey to receive closure, I was able to move through it without, too much residuals of the pain.
Okay. So it was healing therapy for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I'm really understanding more and more how important it is to write, to journal. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that I know Dr. Anissa know how the impact that she's having on women. But I wonder, Dr. Nissa, if you really know how you are helping women like Pastor Antoinette heal through writing their stories. And Pastor Antoinette, you said you had a book in you already?
Yeah, this is it. I've had it and I never had a chance to write it, and I always had on my page, my book is coming, my book is coming. And I was finally able to say it is here. So this is my book. This is the book that I've had in me. Of course, this, like Dr. Short had mentioned, this is just the beginning. This book can be the beginning of more to come. And I'm really excited about that. And
Yeah.
believe it or not, Dr. Short, I mean, the Lord has led me to so many different people with grief. It's like
Yeah.
I'm running into people that's a concern for them. And it's like, can you
Right.
speak here? And I'm like, wow, the Lord is opening up doors already. And I'm just excited. I'm just
Well,
excited.
let me say this to answer your question, Dr. K. Um, I may not ever know the impact these books have on people's lives because I don't know who's ever going to attain a copy. People can order through other people. I may not ever meet the person who is inspired or encouraged or what have you, or motivated. But what I do know is what the word of God says. And it says, we overcome by the blood of the lamb and the word of our testimony.
Amen.
And when you are free enough to tell your story and do so from a level of being authentic and transparent at the level of comfortability, it has to be therapeutic because you're overcoming the pain, the guilt, the stress, the trauma. It's therapeutic. It has to be because his word says that that's how we overcome. The blood of Jesus helps us overcome, and our willing to tear our testimony. And so that's what this is. And my publishing mentor often says is that God told her to start this publishing company because he said women had stories that need to be told because other people are waiting to hear those stories in order to become healed and whole. And so I'm just a part of the process. Really, it's not me. It's about being obedient to the call. Really, is what it is about, doing what I can do in my own small way to make a difference. And that's what I have an opportunity to do. And then how it would be, how remiss of it would be for me to not allow other people to do the same thing. So I extended the invitation to be a part of this book, and they responded. And I never scream. It's like whosoever will, let them come. I never scream. If I'm a Facebook friend with you, I met you some kind of way, and if you said this is what you were meant to do or you want to be a part of, then I'm welcome everybody because it's not for me to tell people that they can or cannot be, a part of the story. So, and Miss Antoinette, I want to say this to you. We're going to talk later because what you don't know is, as I said earlier, I'm not a mother. What I should have said is that my children don't live on this side of eternity. My children live in heaven.
Oh,
I have been
wonderful.
pregnant 5 times and lost 6 babies.
Our
So yeah,
mother.
yes,
Amen,
Okay.
ma'am.
mother.
So my children don't live here with me, but they live.
Okay.
They live. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
Oh.
don't look like what I've been through.
We just was talking about that.
Yeah.
Just was talking about that.
Wow.
Wow. And you know what? I hear a lot of people telling people, you don't have to keep telling that testimony of everybody that heard that testimony before. But this is something that a testimony does too. It connects you and it lets somebody out there know that, wait a minute, I'm not the only one went through that. Even though you know this, the enemy
Mm-hmm.
is telling you that your pain is unique.
Yeah,
You
it's not.
you know
It
that
really isn't.
Pastor Antoinette, that even though you went through a miscarriage, yours was a little bit different from everybody else because of this reason and that
Mm-hmm.
reason. And so Dr. Anissa has given you a voice to help others that are in pain. You
Yeah.
I
become their
know.
voice where
I
they
know.
can't tell their testimony. I say this, when you tell your testimony, what happened, that's when you free from the enemy's hands. Because long as it's a secret, he's going to keep
Right.
whispering in your ear. But the
That's
minute
true.
you
Mhm.
release it on the earth, that's
That's
when you
right.
get victory. And I see a
Right.
lot of people struggle in their minds. I didn't talk about what had happened to me until I was grown. Because as a child, we can carry some secrets. Nobody, sometimes people ain't even got to tell us not to say anything. We
Hmm.
just know inside of ourselves. So a lot of times the inner child in us is screaming, tell it,
Mm-hmm.
tell it, tell it, tell it. And then Dr. Anissa comes along and gives you an opportunity to tell your story. And with you, by you telling this story, now other women going through the
Yep.
same thing. Now they can identify with at
Right.
least you.
Exactly.
She understands what I'm going through.
Exactly. Let me tell you this. The first book was the
Mm.
one on the entrepreneurship edition. And there was one young lady that was a co-author. And we started the process and we got further along. And I've been knowing her for a while. And she says, Anissa, I don't think I need to be a part of this book. I don't think my story is significant enough. And I was like, what do you mean by that? So we had a conversation. And I was like, no, I'm not going to allow you to pull out. You got to write this story. Somebody needs to read it. And she's like, you think so? I said, yeah. So when I read her chapter was done, I said, this is really good. And it talked about her not feeling like she was is the imposter syndrome, basically, in essence. So here's the thing. She says this. Fast forward, the book is published. We're doing podcast interviews. And the one lady that we had people popping in who read the book and wanted to give their feedback. And one lady came on and she became very overcome with emotion. She says, I needed this book. This book spoke to me. And she says, and the chapter that spoke to me the most is the very one that Sherry wanted to pull out of. It was her story. She says, I read this and was like, oh my gosh, she's talking about me. So Sherry then starts to cry. And I'm like, y'all listen. I was like this. We did not get on this podcast to be crying. Would y'all please get y'all's act together? But it was reassuring because Sherry felt like her chapter wouldn't be significant, right? But it resonated with someone. So I told you, Sherry, you couldn't pull out because she needed to read your story. So yes, everybody's story matters. It really does.
So, Pastor Antoinette, I want to thank you for being brave enough to share your story,
Thank you.
to push past your pain, to share your story. And I thank God for the doors that He's opening for you.
Right.
These doors that are opening now is just the beginning. That mantle of motherhood has fell upon you. That's why I was like that when she said the motherhood mantle, that meant so much spiritually. It just clicked with me that, it's almost like you think of Superman and his cape, but
Yes.
that's basically what a mantle is. It's the
Yes.
anointing of
Wow.
God.
It's
And
an
I believe
empowerment.
mother has a certain empowerment connection from God that if you look at a mother's heart, you almost looking at how God's heart is up on the earth.
I can
They
believe it.
forgive. Their child can go out and be a serial
Mhm.
killer, and she be in court every single day, supporting her child. Not what her child did, but supporting her child. And that love never wavering, you know. And so I just got time now for Miss April to speak
Yes.
because Pastor Antoinette's story was so amazing. Dr. Anissa. So I know April, the third A, I know that her story got to be
There it is.
sit down, buckle up, and get ready. So go ahead, Miss April, and you share
So,
with us the
Mm.
story that you wrote in Becoming the Shero, the Motherhood Mantle.
so my chapter is the last chapter of the book, and it is the title From We to Me, Conquering Mom Guilt and Self-Discovery. So it takes me on a journey from being a married mother to becoming a single mother. And during that time, how I grieved the end of my marriage. So there was like a death. So I grieved the end of my marriage. But at the same time, I was feeling all this guilt because I felt like unintentionally, I took my child from a 2-parent home to a 1-parent home. And now he's going through what he's going through because his dad lives in Virginia and we live in North Carolina. And I'm feeling all this guilt, not knowing at the time that it was mom guilt. I actually thought I was having a nervous breakdown, but come to find out years later that it was mom guilt. And as I said earlier, I talk about my child through this chapter because but God, if it was not for my child was my saving grace. Because he encouraged me, he pushed me, he pushed me. I'm trying to be there for him and he's being there for me. And he's the reason why I'm an author now, because he just pushed me. And so then I went on my self-discovery journey. And in that self-discovery journey, I found out who April was because I was an April before I got married. I was an April before I was somebody's mother. I love being a mother. I feel like that's my divine assignment, my divine purpose from God. But who is April outside of being somebody's wife and somebody's mother? So I found out yesterday's April ain't today's April. It's a different April. April has grown up, and I'm taking you through that journey of my self-discovery.
Oh, wonderful.
That's
I love
good.
it. I
That's
love it,
good.
April. It's a story of transformation and discovering yourself
Yes.
because we can lose ourselves in our roles. We actually can. You know, we think we be an authentic self, but in the role of motherhood, you're serving somebody else. In the role of a wife, you serving somebody else. So what happens to you in the meantime? And
Right.
that's why women, we have a lot of health issues, we
Yes.
stressed out, you know, we angry, we can't figure out why we angry because we're doing a lot for others and
Oh,
we
yeah.
forget to do for
For
ourselves.
ourselves. That's
and
so
i
true.
and I like that your son is your number one cheerleader.
Yes. Yes. I'm trying to encourage him and making sure he's okay through the process. And in his own way, he was encouraging me because he would
That's
celebrate
beautiful.
me. When I wouldn't celebrate myself, he would celebrate me. He'll go around and say, good job, mom. If I said I was in grad school at the time too. So if I said, oh, I'm finishing the class, he's like, good job, mom. He's always saying good job, mom. Even today, I can tell him, so I can call him right now and say, I'm on the podcast. He'll say, good job, mom. So he always celebrated me, and not knowing until he got older and I got older. And I feel like him and I grew up together. For the fact that I was 24, 28 when I had him, but like I said, I was going through a divorce as he was growing up. So I felt like we grew up together, sort of. But even now, he continues to celebrate me. And I didn't realize until he left to go to college that, just thinking back over the years that, okay, you're experiencing mom guilt and your child is actually celebrating you. So you have to push forward. The wake up call was the day that I dropped him off on campus. And before I got in the car, trying not to cry, you know how it is. That's my one and only in campus. And he's like, what I need you to do is promise me that you will start taking care of yourself because you do so much for other people. You need to take care of yourself. I'm grown now. When they turn 18, they think they're grown. So
Yes.
he was like, I'm grown now. I'm in college. You did good. I'm good. I'm going to need you to take care of yourself. So that was, and he said, and you have to promise that you do at least one thing for self-care for you. And coming to visit me on campus don't count because you're going to come and see me anyway. So that's what he did.
Oh my God, that is so amazing. It's
Mhm.
amazing to have a child that not selfish.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
And
beautiful thing.
he values you.
Yes.
He understands the value of having a mother like you. A lot of children take their mom for granted. You know, if their mom don't do what they want or living the life that they want them to live, they want to not speak to their mom. And I just be thinking like, boy, I really wish I had a mom to be mad at. You know, people don't think nothing of you get to work and you call your mom and say, "Hey mom, I made it." And I remember one day sitting at work and this girl, when she got in, she said, "Hey mom, I made it to work." And it triggered me. Tears just like
Mhm.
popped into my eyes. I said, because
Mhm.
I lost my mom when I was 3. And I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
My mom has never called me. My mom would never, I don't have a mom to call and make sure I made it to work. And it never bothered me before. When I was little it did, but once I became adult and accepted it, but it's just little things sometimes that'll trigger you to make you
Right.
realize that your
True.
mom's not here anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
That's true. If I may add something to
Yes,
what
ma'am.
April made reference to, I knew about her Mom Guilt series. That's her platform. And I love the fact that, she talked about how she became reintroduced to herself, to who she was. And the thing that I love the most about that is that in working with women, there are times when I'm either doing a podcast interview or I'm talking with them and I say, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. They inevitably say, well, I have 6 kids. I'm married. I work at the XYZ as an executive of PDQ and da 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 da. And I'll go, well, that is amazing. Thank you for sharing with me the roles in which you serve. Now tell me who you are. Because before you became a wife and a mother, and before you had those jobs, you existed. You had. So then they'll go, many times they get stumped and they'll go, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what do you love to do? What's your favorite ice cream? What brings you joy? those types of things. I was Anissa before I became Alfonso's wife. You know, really, to be honest with you, and this may be a little deep for somebody, I existed before my mom and dad even got together, truth be told, you know. So who is that person? And I think in the course of us doing what we do, I don't think, I know, in the course of us doing what we do, we can easily become um smothered by all of that. And I don't mean that in a negative way. So much so that when the children are no longer in the home or the husband is no longer there, we feel lost. Many women lose themselves. They're like, well, what am I going to do now? You're going to live, you know, but because they lost who they were, they forgot about the things that they enjoy, or they maybe just neglected that part of their lives, and they became fully engulfed in everything else. When things shift and pivot, they don't know how to make the shift and the pivot. And so thank you, April, for sharing your story, because then you remind the reader that, yeah, you're a wife, you're a fantastic mama, you know, you're a fantastic wife, you do all of these other great things, but you still are a person unto yourself, and it's not selfish to take care of you.
Exactly.
That's good. And I like too, April, that even though you was going through mom guilt, it's like your son never saw that. You was raising an amazing young man.
Right.
So now you look and say, why was I even feeling that guilt when my son
Exactly.
turned out so amazing? When you could have just relaxed, what they say, relax, let it go, let God
Relax,
have it.
relate, release.
Yes.
Let go
you
and let
know?
go.
And your son turned out to be a wonderful man. And I'm sure he's going to be a wonderful husband and a wonderful father, because a son that cared that much about his mom and put his mom first, because he doesn't sound like a mama's boy. He just sounds like somebody that loves his mom and value his mom. There's a difference.
There is a difference. And
There's
he
a
holds me
difference.
accountable. He'll say the end of the month, he was like, what you do for yourself this month? And then I have to think, what did I do for myself? So he will hold me accountable for it. For my birthday was 2 weeks ago. His is in 2 days. And for my birthday, I was saying, what do you want for your birthday? He was like, today is your birthday. Don't ask me what I want for my birthday. Today is your birthday. We'll talk about that later. So he holds me accountable.
That's good. Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
good.
You know what? People going to be asking you to raise their kids.
I don't know about all that.
You got to do a class on raising the right child rightly.
You can
That's
go
gonna
to my
be
sister for that. You can go to my sister Nakisha for that.
because they gonna ask, your son turned out like this. What did you do? Give us the recipe for this. So, ladies, I have enjoyed our talk. I have enjoyed talking about becoming the Shero, the motherhood mantle that comes out on Ruby Girl Day is Thursday. So, Miss April and Pastor Antoinette, you don't know, every Thursday is Ruby Girl Day. So I always promote women, put their pictures
Can
out there, give them an opportunity to post their business on my page on Thursdays. I'm free on Thursday. A lot of people don't post on my page and all this. I give women the freedom because there's so much room at the top. And so just tune into my page on Thursdays. I'll be at home, so I'll be able to promote my page like I want to on Thursday. I had to go in the office last week, so it was a little dry, but this week I'm gonna saturate y'all with the Ruby girls. All right. So we're gonna close out, and I want
right.
each one of y'all to do like 2 minutes. Dr. Anissa, I'll let you sum it all up. And so, Pastor Antoinette, I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm really excited about the opportunity to let the book in me out, and I'm really grateful for Dr. Anissa, and allowing me this opportunity and mentoring us through the process. And I'm just looking forward to what God has in store for this book, and how it will impact the lives of women, not just with my story, but with April's story, with her sister's story, just to see how women have come together with their voices to reach out to impact the lives of other women. And so I'm really excited to see what is what God has in store for uh, our book, Becoming the Shero, the Motherhood Mantle. So I'm excited.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, did you did you want to get out any information in case somebody wanted to contact you? Because they can order from the co-authors, right, Dr.
They
Anissa?
can, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on Facebook, Antoinette Harrison. You can come on to, message me, friend me, and I'll make sure that you can get a copy. And that's pretty much my platform is Facebook, of course, and Instagram, Antoinette Degree Harrison. So you can find me there as well. So I don't have a website yet, Dr. Short, but I'm working on it so that I can sort of share from my website as well. So yes, please look me up, Antoinette Harrison.
Okay, thank you, Antoinette. Miss April.
Yes.
Miss
So,
April in April.
yes, April and April. So yes, so just in time for Mother's Day, it will be ready on Thursday. You got what, a week and a half before Mother's Day, and it can get to you quickly. So get the book. We have these amazing women. And if you want to get in contact with me to know my secrets to raising children, or if you want to order from myself, you can go to my website at www.lifeisamaze.com, and maze is spelled MAYS. So www.lifeisamaze.com.
Great, thank you. Thank you. All right, you probably got people in the chat already. How can I get in this class? And
Absolutely.
and so finally, and never least, is Dr. Anissa.
Well, first, Dr. K, once again, thank you. You always open your door. And when I reached out, I said, I have got to get my people out here. And so I was trying to plug in. I appreciate you and your platform. You are doing marvelous things. And so thank you for being obedient to the call and allowing us to be a part of it. So to everyone who has watched, and for those who may be watching the replay, one of the things I want to emphasize, especially if you live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where I live, on this Saturday, the 27th, we are hosting a Salute to Moms. Chosen Pen Publishing, which is the publishing company that published the book, is hosting an event called the Salute to Moms. And that event, as you can imagine, is all about moms, right? It's a precursor to the month of Mother's Day. And so our book will be officially launching on that day. So you can come by and pick up a copy or place an order for your copy. You can come and enjoy the engaging conversations that we're going to have about what it looks like to be a 21st century mom. There will be lunch because, we got to feed you, right? And then there are going to be a few vendors. And then we're going to culminate the event with a fashion show. So it's all about moms. There are going to be some door prizes. I want to see you there. And if you want to connect with me in any way, you can find me on Facebook, Dr. Anissa Short. You can find me on Instagram, Dr. Anissa Short. And then, of course, if you want to learn more about what I do, my platform, and all of that, I have a link that you can, a bit.ly link actually. So bit.ly, and then the / would be the success strategist. Find me there, and then you'll be able to connect with me from various different aspects. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yes, all of our authors live. We got Virginia, North Carolina, Mississippi. We got women from all 3 states. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but I think that's it. Yeah, Mississippi, Virginia, and North Carolina represented in this book.
Oh, wow, the southern states, huh?
Yes, we're the Southern Bells. Yes, that's what we
Oh, I
are.
see. What happened to the northern bells? Y'all
I don't know.
just
Y'all
counted
cold.
us out.
Y'all a little bird. Y'all look cold up there. Yeah.
Yeah, it feel like
Actually,
winter
you know
today.
what? I take that
You
back.
too.
We do have one of our co-authors that lives in the Virgin Islands. She's a native of North Carolina, but she lives in the Virgin Islands. So
Okay.
yeah, so we have the Virgin Islands,
Mhm.
Virginia, Mississippi, and North Carolina represented in this book.
Okay. Next time, come on up. Come on
You
up
know what? I'm gonna have
to
to
come
come up
on
a
up
little,
north.
go across the Mason-Dixon line and go to the Midland. Yeah.
Most definitely, you got to come up. So I want to thank all you ladies for tonight. This is very informative, very heartwarming, very touching. But Dr. Anissa, how can they order the book on Thursday?
Amazon.
They can go on Amazon.
Yep, they
Okay.
can go on Amazon. Now, here's what I'm going to ask. If you know any of my co-authors, any of the co-authors, I want you to go to them and order a copy because you're supporting them directly. If you don't know any of them and you know me, then just go to Amazon. Just go to Amazon. Yeah. But if you
Okay.
know any of the co-authors, I would rather you order from them, and then they can possibly provide you an autographed copy. That will make it more meaningful. And again, it's just in time for Mother's Day, so you could get a copy from them. They can sign it, and then you can take this book and couple it with all the other wonderful things you're going to give your mom for Mother's Day, whether it be your biological mom, spiritual mom, play mom, God mom, whatever mom, you know.
It's beautiful. So I want to thank you ladies for being a guest on my show tonight. I thank you all for just pouring out, being open, putting a pen to your pain, sharing your wonderful story of your wonderful son, Miss April, that we all want you to share with us. That we know he's a joy just to be around. I want to thank you once again, Dr. Anissa, for giving these women a platform. They knew it was a book in them, but you made it easier for them to get that book up out of them. And I thank you for being obedient, because if the Lord had woke me up at night, I probably would have turned right on over. And he probably did tell me about Shero. That's probably what happened. He was like, "Well, I know Dr. Anissa, she'll get up and she'll write it out. But you'll just turn over and you just go back to sleep." So that lets us know that even when we sleep, God is downloading something into us. God is trying to tell us something. That's when our mind is still, that's when our soul is at peace. And so he speaks to us, especially in that 3 o'clock hour, that two
Yeah,
Mhm.
o'clock
or a little
hour.
after three.
Yes, yes, it's something about that hour that he wants us to get up and pray. He wants us to get up and commune with him. So if you find yourself out there, audience, up at that time of night, as the song says, maybe God is trying to tell you something. So it's
Yeah,
good to write things down, because the enemy
That's
comes
right.
and steals the word from us daily. That's why God tells us that we have to daily, our daily bread, not our monthly bread, but our daily bread, because the enemy
Mhm.
is always coming and snatching crumbs of the word from us. So
yeah,
y'all stay in y'all word, and those that are mothers, I honor you. Those that have lost children, I honor you. Those that have lost their mothers, we honor you, because I know how hard it is to
yeah.
navigate life without your mother. You don't have
Mhm.
that person to go to and have that heart to heart talk. Now, God gives you a lot of spiritual mothers, God mothers, but it's nothing like your birth
Your
mother.
biological
That's
mother.
right.
Yes, nothing like your biological mother. So, ladies, I'm so excited about your book, and I'll be helping y'all, promote it on Ruby Girl Day. And thank y'all. You're always welcome to come back as my guest. So we're gonna dismiss the people on Facebook. And I hope y'all enjoyed it on tonight. Please connect with each one of these wonderful women and support them on this book. Look, we need to support each other more, especially we women. We need to stick together, ladies. We be out here. I don't want her to see, but listen, God gave Dr. Anissa this vision. So when you don't support her, you're not supporting what God wants in the earth. You might be like, this book ain't for me. Get the book, because it's for somebody that
Yes,
you
true.
know.
That is
So
true.
as we support each other, we all
Mhm.
grow together. So y'all,
That's
y'all
good.
stop with that stingy, I ain't supporting her mindset. That's demonic. We curse that now.
Amen. Amen.
Let them hands move to that pocketbook right now in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
All right, y'all. I just wanted y'all to have a great time
Ah,
tonight. I hope y'all did have a great and wonderful
thank
time, my
you. Thank
Facebook
you.
audience. And until next week, I will see you Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. I'm always looking for guests. Y'all act like y'all scared. Y'all can come on my show. I would love to have a conversation. Your story not boring. I can't interview. That's okay. We'll spend time together and you'll max it. All right. Have a great evening, everybody on Facebook.